Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kickback presents the All Memphis Post Game Show, where we break down, recap, review every Memphis Grizzlies and or Memphis Tigers game. Right after it happens, you don't have to wait for our take. As always, the homie Mase is with me. Mase, how you feeling, man? I felt kind of weird saying that intro because we missed a couple games, but
hey man, we work when we want to, man. This is our show.
It's our show. So you gonna get these shows. We want to give you these shows.
Well,
Mates, how you doing?
We got vaccines rolling out outside, opening back up. You know, we got things happening in life. I'm trying to move back across the country, so there's a lot going on in our worlds. You know, I'm trying to get vaccinated too, so I'm trying to move back to Tennessee where they're giving them out.
Man,
but I mean, you know, honestly, I feel like this weekend overall in the NBA was basically just like everyone was like, all right, let's get this game over so we can go watch the tournament. Didn't even really watch the Warriors games that closely. I know we split. I watched the first game closely enough to know that it wasn't close. And, I paid pretty good attention to the second one. So in the NBA, I don't feel like we missed a lot. Memphis Tigers got a win while we were gone over Dayton. A nice win, impressive win, and they live to fight another day. Thursday, I believe, they play Boise State. But all in all, I'm good, man. I'm good. You actually went to the Grizzlies game tonight.
Yeah.
First time back in the Forum. How was it? What was it like?
It was weird, man. It was weird. Don't want to call it it wasn't eerie, but it was weird. Like you're so used to having a lot more people at the Forum. The pumped in crowd noise was interesting. But the people that were there were all about it. So that was good to see. So it was good to be around other people watching a sporting event, feeling like it's almost normal. That's what I was telling Alex on Friday, because I went down to Tunica, went to the sports book since sports gambling is legal in Mississippi. So I went down to the sports books at Grand Casino, and like it was amazing, but it was packed. So we went to one at Horseshoe, and it was just as good. But we had tables and stuff, and it just felt great to be around other people watching sports. Like they're yelling for whatever reason, everybody just yelling and kind of the same thing tonight, man. So it was good to be there. It was good to see the team in person. It's like this is my first time, probably my only time going to the Forum this year for this season. So it was actually good to see. And the team delivered tonight. They delivered tonight.
Was there anything that stood out to you seeing them in person that was like different from just watching them on TV? Just nothing that popped out in your head?
Not really, I guess, because I saw them so much the year before. Like, even though last season, the season stopped in March of 2020. Mm-hmm. Like, I had probably been to 2 or 3 games before then. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of seeing them. One thing that did stand out, like, although it was rather unoffensive tonight, Jaren's outfits didn't look as bad in person than they do on TV. But it was actually good. You do see how physical some of the guys are. Like Desmond Bane physically is big. Like his chest and shoulders translate to TV, but when you see him in life, he big. But no, it was good. The game atmosphere is great. They did something that we have been begging them to do for years. They had an in-arena DJ, and Mike T was rocking it. Like I text you, he played the paper chase early in the game. He was in the first quarter. He played the paper chase. But yeah, it was good, man. It was like they didn't have the full Grizz Girl squad. They only had 3 Grizz Girls, which I guess is part of like only so many can be in the dressing room. Only so many can be performing. They didn't perform on the court. They performed on the stage. So yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting. They're doing the best they can with what they have.
I really hope they keep Mike T when fans are allowed back in the arena, because if you have NBA League Pass, in which most people in Memphis don't because it's blacked out, but that's how I watch the games. And during the timeouts, like it just goes to Mike T and like shows you, and like you can hear the music and stuff. So it's great to jam out to on League Pass. So I can only imagine, you know, an arena full of people, just what that could add to it.
Man,
Yeah.
you know what else I learned is like, yo, TikTok, dog. TikTok be teaching all these kids these dances, and they be doing the dances to the wrong songs. It's like God bless these little white boys and girls who try to do like this. It's hilarious to watch. But
TikTok, so the dance cam was live and in effect.
Oh yeah. It was interesting to see, man. It was a good experience though. Thoroughly enjoyed myself. Like I said, I doubt I'll go back again this year, but it was good to get that one under my belt, and it was good to see him win. It was good to see him win. You mentioned it. They played on Friday and got destroyed by the Warriors. Andrew Wiggins had 40 points. Then they came back on Saturday and won a closer game. No Steph in either one of those games. And then come back tonight and beat Boston, who, you know, whatever. They're on the second game of a back-to-back. No Kemba Walker, no Jason Tatum. But they still put up a fight. Like, they still had Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown, who has turned me, because I was a Jaylen Brown hater. I used to call Jaylen Brown overrated. But he's made a believer out of me. Part of that was Pac-12 hate because he went to Cal. But he's made a believer out of me, man. And they kept the game close. Jeff Teague tonight. Like, when I saw that Kemba wasn't playing, I'm like, oh yeah, let me put some money on Ja scoring more than 20 points. But I look up and Jeff Teague gave Ja 22 or 24 points. So it's like, you know, Jeff Teague there's a reason he's been in the league for so long. And there's a reason why he's like a coveted backup point guard, because he's a pro.
Yeah, and I mean, Jaylen, I'm right there with you. He's so fun to watch, and just what he's added to his game offensively. Like, now there's really nothing he can't do. He can create for himself. He can play off the ball, which he usually has to do with Tatum. And, you know, coming in, I was like, oh man, unleash Jaylen. That's going to be a tough matchup. But Dillon Brooks went toe to toe with him, straight up, like, made him work for every shot he took. It felt like, I mean, even though Jaylen had 27, he was 11 of 24. I mean, that's pretty good, but he was 3 of 11 from deep. Only got to the line 3 times. And Dillon, on the other hand, he was 10 of 22. So right there with him, he had 24 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, and he played like a large part of the last chunk of the game with 5 fouls. So I was really impressed with Dillon Brooks tonight and how he just went toe to toe with Jaylen Brown. And something I think we forget a lot, Jamal, is that no one on the Grizzlies team currently is in their prime except for maybe Valanciunas and maybe Kyle Anderson. So even someone who we feel like is older because they've been around 4 seasons, like Dillon Brooks, he's still relatively, you know, young in NBA terms and not yet at his prime of what he can be.
Well, I will say this. You asked a question about something that looked different in person, and maybe because this was more of a controlled game by Dillon, but Dillon didn't look as wild and out of control in person. Like, this
may have been the best game of his career all around. Like, honestly, he was like, that is what you dream of when you've been standing on Dillon Brooks Island, saying he can control it and become a playmaker and, you know, provide the tenacity. That was all in one tonight, and we needed every bit of it, honestly.
We did.
In the game you didn't really think we would. We came in favored, which Boston's been struggling. I mean, they're below 500. Mm-hmm. And with the win tonight, the Grizzlies are back at 500. So it makes sense that we were favored. It's just not something you would have expected at the beginning of the season or even the beginning of the week.
I think Boston was in either 6th or 7th in the East, which, if you think about it, is kind of crazy. When you think about the teams in the East, I know Toronto's in a free fall right now.
Yeah, they're in 8th now. They're in 8th.
Yeah, Boston. 8th now. So yeah,
they're below the Knicks and the Hornets and the Hawks. And the Hawks are in 4th. Shit, sorry, I keep cutting you off, but the East is wild over there.
God bless the Hornets, man. The first good year they have in like 3 or 4 years, and LaMelo broke his wrist, so now they got to deal with him being out for the rest of the season. So they'll probably fall. But I would say the Hornets were in the same boat as the Grizzlies. Like, this wasn't even a year. Like, this was just a year to get through, and they were getting through it rather well. And playing well and saw some things that they can build on, and that's what this Grizzlies team is doing. And I mean, Ja Morant is Ja Morant's that dude, and you can building around him and the crew that we got. It's gonna be something fun. Like this week, when we know obviously the people that listen to the show know that you and I are friends and all this other stuff, but we had another friend that my brother asked us about getting Kelly Oubre, which has been a name that Grizzlies fans mention all the time when it comes to getting the shooting guard. He was like, who should we give up to get Kelly Oubre? He asked that question. I'm like, I don't know if we should give up anybody like this. The way this team is growing, the way this team is playing, I mean, Dylan Brooks ain't gonna be a superstar, but Dylan Brooks can give you nights like tonight. And as long as you get something from Ja and something like, I don't know, man. I just like the makeup of this team so much. And on nights like tonight, you see it where it was just a good all-around effort.
Yeah, and it didn't really start off that way. Like Marcus Smart came out hitting shots, and as soon as you know it, we're down 9 and trying to claw our way back into it. Closed the first quarter down 6, and then Desmond Bane, luckily in the second quarter rather, he got hot. I think he scored 10 points in that quarter. It kind of a revenge game for Bane, because you remember the Celtics traded us the pick that we selected him with for some like future second rounders, I believe. We traded up and took Bane. So I feel like that had to be on his mind. And he came in and outplayed Aaron Naismith, I thought.
Oh, he did. And it was interesting. Like Grayson started and he made a couple threes to start. Had a big block. Was it in the first quarter, second quarter? Had a big block on Theis. And then came down and shot a ill-advised 3 just because it was adrenaline. He blocked it, came down, wanted to shoot a 3. We get it.
Been there. We've all been there.
We've all been there. You make a good defensive play. You shooting the ball. You don't even think about passing it. We've talked about it before, and it's going to be mentioned every show. Like that trio of guards, Grayson, Desmond, and DeAnthony. Just seeing what they do on a nightly, and like DeAnthony didn't score much tonight, but played really good, played defense. You know, only was 15 minutes he had. But
it's starting to get ridiculous, the lack of playing time that he's getting. Like there's no logical answer for him getting 15 minutes. We took him out down the stretch tonight, and honestly, it sent us to overtime. We put the starting unit back in instead of having Melton, and I felt like Brandon Clark should have been in because they had Robert Williams, Time Lord in, and Valanciunas sometimes he can close, but more times than not, Brandon Clark is going to be your better option right now because he's more versatile. Just like last year, it was Jaren Jackson who was closing out games at the 5. So I don't know. And Taylor Jenkins usually rolls with the lineup that's been playing good, and tonight he just went against all that to close the game, and it almost cost us.
Well, I didn't have any paper with me to write down notes, but the one thing I was in my mind to ask, especially if we lost the game, was closing with Grayson when DeAnthony was playing very well in the first half of the fourth quarter.
Yes.
We got to laugh at Campbell. You right, brother. You right. Everybody saw that shot and said, "Oh no!" He shot it off the side of the backboard.
My notes say justice with the playoff P special.
Off the side of the backboard, easy. So yeah, if we had lost the game, I was definitely going to make a stink about him closing with Grayson instead of closing with Melton or Bane for the defense. But obviously win the game, so that point still needs to be made. And you make the point about the minutes that Melton plays. And like
how is Grayson getting 33 and Melton's getting 15? They both scored 9 points. Melton's obviously better defensively, gives you more assist-wise, and he was a +4 in his 15 minutes, and Grayson was a -3 in 33. So I just think it's getting harder and harder to ignore that Melton is probably the best of the 3 and maybe has the highest potential of the 3.
Yeah, and it's I was explaining to somebody asked me something about Tillman. You know, I said, you know what? Well, when the team got it, when somebody got healthy, I forget who it was that needed to be healthy. when Justice came back, Tillman lost his spot. Like when the team gets whole, somebody loses their playing time. Like Gorgie's out of the rotation, Tillman's out of the rotation. And I was saying when Jaren comes back, we don't have any more bigs to take out of the rotation.
Mm-hmm.
So one of these guards is going to be out of the rotation, whether it's Melton, Bain, or Grayson Allen. And from the looks of it, it's going to be Melton. They're going to take Melton out because I don't know. I can't say why, but from the looks of it, when Jaren comes back, the only two people I can see them losing will be Kyle Anderson and DeAnthony Melton. But there's no way Kyle is going to fall completely out of the rotation. So it's going to have to be Melton.
I mean, it's going to be impossible to do that. But we got a couple days till the trade deadline. Who knows? You know, Zach Kleiman and Jason Wexler have definitely been savvy since they took over. So I'm not putting anything past them. But at the same time, they have an abundance of riches, and we know what this season holds, or the last part of this season holds moving forward. And the only expiring is Gorgie. So you're not in a rush to get rid of any of these guys by any means. Like, it's a great problem to have. We say it every show. But I just feel like it's getting harder and harder to not play Melton. I'm not sure if there's a disconnect between the front office and the coaching staff. It seems, we think that it's Jenkins who loves Grayson Allen, and rightfully so. I mean, when he's played, the results have been good no matter who's in there. So we're just nitpicking. We're not criticizing.
We're finding problems.
Yeah, like it's a great win. We're 20-20. I'm happy as can be with the season in general. This game, first half, really no defensive pressure on either side. And then in the second half, it felt like the Grizzlies really turned it up for the most part. But then you look up and we're headed to overtime. Like, what happened down the stretch? Because it felt like we had an 8 to 10 point lead. And then the next thing you know, Celtics go on a 10-2 run. And I was watching other games. I was in a card break trying to win some LeBrons. and it just about the next thing I knew, the game was tied. So in there in person, what happened?
We missed some free throws. We had some turnovers, and and the Celtics kind of scored every time. Like, they tied the game on a lob, right? Like, I think it was the lob from Smart to Theis, and it was like, okay, well, that's a way to do it. And they walked us down slowly. It was a slow walk down to get back into the game. They made some shots. We missed some shots. And the aura, whatever, in the arena was like, oh, crap. You know what I'm saying? People were up. We were so high. And then, like, every second, they would lose, like, and then, at the end of the last play of the fourth quarter, I think when it started, because we called a timeout after they made the free throw after the dunk or whatever it was, to tie the game. And somebody said, oh, this is going to be just like Miami. Like, put the ball in 12's hands and, whatever. And they put the ball in Ja's hand, and Ja take a three or a jump shot. And bro, it was tough to see. And I think even as that first unit that started the fourth quarter, they didn't play badly. They just missed, they extended the lead a little bit. And then, Jeff T got going. Grant Williams made a couple shots and some plays. It was just one of those things where they just walked us down. And it was tough. It was what word I want to use for that? Maybe it was after Justice hit the side of the backboard, the team might have just said, you know what? What are we doing?
Well, it was the brick, and then it kind of coincided with the lineup change of bringing the starters back in, and then that's when the run happened. But there early in the second half, we came out and a JV Statue of Liberty on Theis's head, which was great to see. JV loves going to those big Euros, or I'm not sure where Theis is from, but you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
And then right after that, Ja goes coast to coast, hits Teague with a nasty behind the back, in a full dead sprint, one of the best ball handling moves you'll see, short of Kyrie Irving. And then he finished it amongst two defenders. Looked like it should have been an and one. And then the next thing you know, Dylan's throwing a left-handed lob that Ja catches left-handed. and just throws down a nasty, nasty dunk. So when that stretch happened, was it just good to see Ja's athleticism in person again? And,
Man, it was
and the Dylan technical foul to follow.
Dylan. I said Dylan gonna be Dylan. Dylan gonna be Dylan. He just
What did he do? I didn't see it.
I don't even know what he did because I was actually eating something. We were in a suite, so I was eating something, and then I looked down and somebody said technical foul on 24 Brooke, and they're like, they called it on Dylan. I said Dylan gonna be Dylan. He gonna have to make his mark on the game, however he does.
His pass was pretty nice though. That left-handed dished, and it was a little wild, so Ja had to go get it, but it contributed to a great play.
Kyle tried to throw one, and he threw it a second too late and a little too low, and it ended up the Celtics hit it out, so the Grizzlies still got the ball. But there's one thing, and I guess because I've seen Ja play 2 or 3, maybe 3 or 4 times in person already, that's just the speed. His speed is something that you can't get used to. He's just fast, and the fact that he's super to be a right-handed guy and to do so much left-handed is ridiculous. And because you see it the other way around, I guess, where no, I don't even want to say that because Mike Conley shoots left-handed, but he does everything else right-handed, right?
Yeah, I mean he's an anomaly. You can't compare him to anything.
Right, but for Ja to be so right,
but it's similar. It's similar, yeah. The way he can handle with his left, it's no problem, and finish with his left. Mike only shoots floaters with his right, and Ja basically loves to finish with his left. Even today, he's doing up and unders left-handed and just finishing ridiculous layups with that left hand. And even some of his passes, it gives him a whole another side of the court that he can playmate to. Just if he's at the top, he can throw a left-handed pass to a shooter on the wing and know that it's going to be delivered. Whereas even a lot of NBA players, they can't do that and get it near the guy. No,
that is a talent, and that's something that everybody can do. Like you said, whether it's your left hand and your right hand, whatever your offhand is, you don't really have that much control over your offhand like you do with your strong hand. So with Ja doing that, that was awesome. It was actually the part of it too. I didn't even know Boston played a few players. I had no idea who they were. It was who was this dude name? What's his name? Naismith? Not Naismith.
That's who they drafted. They drafted him in the lottery. He was from Vandy. I think he got hurt early on, but he was supposed to be big time at Vandy. He's supposed to be a shooter, but yeah, he basically, that's what I was saying. It was a Bane revenge game because he was a shooter in the draft, and then Bane was a tier below him somehow. And then they had the Time Lord Robert Williams, Grant Williams from Tennessee. I didn't know the M Williams.
Now, no, who is that? M Williams.
Or wait. No, that's R Williams. My bad. I didn't know Jay Green. Jay Green. I didn't know who that was when he was in the game.
Javante Green. I must have been drinking when he was in there because I have no idea who he was. What did he do?
Radford.
Went to Radford. My old roommate used to coach at Radford. I bet he coached him. Yeah. And so what I always think about with Grant Williams when I see him on the court is when Lester Quinones tried to talk shit to Grant Williams.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. We're not going to talk about. Although the Tigers did win this past weekend, which is good to see.
And Lester's got a chance to make it. I think he just does a little bit of everything. But I
don't know if he'll get drafted, but I don't know if he'll get drafted, but he definitely has a way to play his way into the league because he just does. He does everything. He plays really hard, and he's practically good at everything. So
he's probably second on the team in double doubles now. Yeah. He's rebounding his ass off.
If he doesn't get drafted and he gets into the right training camp situation, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. To me, he'll be just like Chris Chiozza. Chris wasn't going to get drafted. Chris got into the right situation, had the right agent to put him in the right situations, and now he's a bona fide NBA player who's going to be on NBA teams for the next 5 to 6 years. But that's also just me pumping up a Spartan. But it was fun to see them win this game. It was fun to see the guys in person. Lester has no handles. That's true. He has to work on his ball handling. But it was fun to get a win. It was fun to get a win, to be in the forum. They try to make it as normal as it can be. But Campbell mentioned that I forgot they didn't have a house band, which kind of threw you off.
I'll take the trade for Mike T.
They didn't have a halftime show either. But today, since this was since March is National Women's Month or Women's History Month, they showed a halftime performance that featured a lot of prominent all-female group from Memphis, Jackson Avenue, with a bunch of young girls from last year or two years ago, maybe last year, which was fine, which was great. So it was good. It was good to be there, man.
That's the Ching's crew, right? I'm pretty sure that's that's
the Ching's crew. So I was happy to be able to go to the game and to see them win. I don't know. I don't know much more to say. I mean, like, would this game have been different if Kemba Walker and Jason Tatum played? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But you take a dub, however you can get a dub. Like, we're at that point in the season where it's like, man, look, a win is a win. And until Jaren comes back, nothing really surprises me with this team. I think we've seen everything that we've seen everything that we can see from this team. So yeah.
Yeah, and we took advantage of a team that was shorthanded. We scored 80 points in the paint. I'm pretty sure that breaks the franchise record that we set earlier in the year. I feel like that was at 76. We out-rebounded them 17-5 on the offensive glass. We only outscored them by 5 in second-chance points, which is not ideal. But we moved the ball. We had 38 assists. So the thing was zipping around. We had 18 points off their 12 turnovers, only turned it over 10 times ourselves. And then, I mean, we won a game when they shot 50% from three and we shot 34%. So, and they made 5 more threes than us. So, the defense made plays when it needed to. It made opportune plays. It didn't necessarily get stops like we would like, but it did make opportune plays and turn them into fast break points. So we'll take it. And like you said, I'll take wins however I can get them this season.
Yeah, man. And it was the one thing I did notice too is like the substitution pattern with Jonas in the first quarter. He took Jonas out pretty early.
I think he's trying different things because it's been switching up a lot these past few games.
And yeah, not know if it was a matchup thing or not, because I guess was he trying. I don't know if he was mirroring when Theis was in the game, and then when they put Robert Williams in, went with Brandon Clark to be a little bit more athletic and go with him. But Robert Williams had a good game tonight anyway. Like, he's a beast. It took him a while to put everything together from when he was at Texas A&M, and I think he was with the Knicks for a year. It just took him a while to get everything right, but he's a good big.
And Ja played 41 minutes, which, it seems like just a couple weeks ago we couldn't get him to 30. Now he played 41 minutes. Tyus only played 12, so maybe he's the odd man out.
I was thinking that you had mentioned it of maybe a few shows ago when we were talking about it, where maybe Tyus is the odd man out and we move Justice to that point guard on the second unit. But Justice got to be doing something. He ain't doing nothing. Justice, like,
I feel like tonight his bricks, he had like 2 bricks from downtown. Obviously, the one was ugly, and he had another one. Then he stepped out of bounds on a third one that he actually made, but it was no good. But I felt like overall, in the grand scheme of things, like, he was pretty good. We were better with him on the floor. I think he led us in plus minus. So it's just, I think when the jumper's not falling and it's kind of clunky when it doesn't fall, so it gives us a false sense of how he's playing, I think.
Yeah, and I can definitely he has enough handles and enough poise in him to run the point guard on that second unit.
I mean, if Tyus is playing 12 minutes, but the thing is, which we've been saying all along, is how do you weigh in the end of this season? Like, you want to give these guys a fair chance now, and it probably doesn't even matter if you trade everyone away, you're still going to be fighting for that 10 spot at the least. So it's just like, how are they going to weigh in the number of games smashed into this short amount of time in the second half of this season? That's why this trade deadline is different than anyone we've ever seen before, because the end of the season that we're facing is, I think, 32 games and, not a lot of days, and probably about 35 days here, or not 35, probably about 50 days. So it's going to be nip and tuck. And if Ja gets hurt, then you don't have a point guard. And it's like, well, we can't function as a team and we can't, lose enough to really get in the lottery now. So then you're just a fish out of water.
Do you rest Ja?
Nah, I don't think so. I mean, he was injured earlier. We had the break. No, I don't think so, because I don't think it's not, maybe here and there, but I'm trying to play him as much as we can to build up that season leg strength and just build that endurance of a season. And then he can have a regular off season this year to fully recover, see what it's like. He's not on Team USA. We already know that because they announced the roster. So literally this off season is for rest and development for him. So I don't think I would rest him too much. Yeah, here and there, if we got 5 and 7, sure.
Yeah, like I just looked at the schedule and we saw we played on Friday, played on Saturday, had Sunday off, played today, have tomorrow off, play on Wednesday, have Thursday off, play on Friday and Saturday. So that's 6 in what?
No, is that 5 and 8? I think we got
5 and 8.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 and 8, which is crazy.
And I think 3 of the next 5 are against Utah, right? Like one of the best teams in the West.
We got Utah on Friday and Saturday of this week. We got a rematch with the Thunder on Wednesday in Oklahoma City. So like you have to win that game. There's no losing that game. And the Thunder, we obviously know what they're capable of, and they beat somebody tonight. Who they beat tonight?
And the crazy thing is they're just tossing out lineups. Like they're not even sticking with the starting lineup. They're resting people and stuff, giving people looks, and they just keep on winning.
They beat the Timberwolves tonight, which the Timberwolves aren't world beaters, but they still beat the Timberwolves. And I think Shai Gilgeous had 40 points. Had 31. I gave him 9 more. But yeah, so like that's a game you should win, and you need that revenge game to get you over 500. Because you got 2 tough ones against the Jazz coming up on Friday and Saturday. And just like you did with the Warriors, just like you did with the Clippers, when we did those Friday, Saturday back-to-backs, or that Thursday, Friday back-to-back with the Clippers, is get a split. You would like to, but getting one is good enough. So, that's where we are for the rest of the week.
And who's the other team that we played? There's 5 games. 3 are the Jazz. 1 is OKC. And then I feel like there's another bad team in there.
So we play the Jazz on Friday and Saturday, and then on next Monday we play the Rockets, who just snapped their 20-game losing streak tonight.
Good folks got a ESPN alert sent for snapping a 20-game losing streak. Congratulations.
Who would have thought how the mighty have fallen if they were ever mighty? But all right, man, let's get into it, dog. Who was your player of the game?
I'm going to go my boy Dylan Brooks, man. Just a huge all-around night from him. And just, I think, showed like the true capabilities of what he can be and, hope for the future. And I think he's going to continue to get better and better, man. Like you brought up the trade scenario that your brother put in the group text, and I don't know when it happens. I don't feel like I even liked the guy last year. Definitely didn't like him personally when things went down during the offseason, how he kind of is carrying himself. So I'd like to see him clean that up. But dude, I love this guy as a player, and I want him on my team all day, every day. Definitely don't want to have to play against him. And I think I just think I say it every time. He just brings so much to this team, man. And we're not who we are without Dylan Brooks. So shout out to DB. That's my player of the game. Who you got?
I'm gonna get the same. I want to pick the same. I don't usually like to do the same, but this game was it's important. It was important for Dylan's importance to the team to show how what he does on both ends. So yeah, Dylan Brooks is my player of the game. Who was
and I mean, he made big plays in overtime too. Like our offense was running through him. So what we got next?
Bum of the game. Who you got for your bum?
I'm gonna go with the Justice Winslow corner 3-pointers. One hit the side of the backboard, and the other one he stepped out of bounds. So I'd like to see those be knockdown shots.
I would just for the sake to be against you, I am going to say that my bum of the game is Javonte Green. Because who are you, bro? I have no idea who you are. How you got from Radford to being on the Boston Celtics is beyond me. But yeah, you are my bum of the game. What was your play of the game?
Okay, my play of the game comes from a player who I don't think we even mentioned today, but he was really solid all around. That's Kyle Anderson. He filled up the stat sheet, had blocks, steals, rebounds, assists, and double-digit points. And I thought the biggest play of the game was in overtime when he stripped Marcus Smart and took it down and scored. And I think that put us up by 4. What you got? I mean, there's a bevy of options to choose from in this one.
we mentioned the lob to Ja from Dylan.
I mean, that's your Sports Center top 10, like top play probably.
Ja had a couple like reverse layups that were really good. Ja had a lob to Dylan Brooks, a two-handed lob to Dylan Brooks. But my play of the game, my official play of the game, Jonas Valanciunas' one-handed dunk on the dude because Jonas was frustrated. He didn't get a lot of touches or a lot of minutes in the first half. And then we came back in the third quarter. In the start of the third quarter, he's like, yo, I don't care. I'm getting the ball. When I'm getting the ball, I'm putting it up. I'm getting these rebounds. And yeah, that's what. So he dunked on dude, and it was like audible. Everybody in the gym was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like it was that's my play of the game.
And that's, that set the team off and got us on that run that had all those highlight plays that seemed to be back to back to back. So yeah, shout out to JV. What about did you win any money, Jamal? They've been waiting. We ain't had shows for a while. You've been betting all weekend on college sports. Did you win any money tonight?
Man, you know what? It's the first for the show, man.
Oh, don't do it to me.
It's the first for the show, man. All I had to, if I knew all I had to do was go to the game to win some money, I would have started going to games early. But no, man, like I text you earlier today. I said tonight's play I'm gonna hit tonight. I got a feeling, and this is before I even knew Jason Tatum wasn't playing.
True story. This happened.
I texted man and said, "Yo, my stats based play tonight gonna work," and it did, bro. I won. Finally hit a little big chunk. Turned my $5 into something nice on this one. So I had Kyle Anderson to score 10 points, which he did with like 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. He made me sweat for that one. Had Marcus Smart to score over 10 points. He had that in the first
quarter. Yeah.
Had Ja to get over 15 points. Had Dylan Brooks to get over 15 points. So at one point, then after I had Dylan get over 15 points, then I had Jonas to get over 13.5 points. At one point in the fourth quarter, Kyle Anderson had 9 points. Dylan Brooks had 14 points. And Jonas Valanciunas had 14 points. I thought I bet that Jonas would have 15. So I'm telling my mind, I need all 3 of these guys to score a bucket. So I looked at the bet and I said, I had Jonas for 13.5, so 14 was good. But this was a point in time in the fourth quarter where we were up by like 8 points with like maybe 6 minutes to go. And the second unit was still in. So I was like, damn, if they push this out, he's not going to put the starters back in. And I'm going to miss this by 1 bucket for Kyle and 1 bucket for Dylan. But the Celtics came back and he put them back in and they hit the buckets. And then with the original bet, I had Jason Tatum scoring over 20 points. But since he didn't play, they voided it out. Had Jaylen Brown.
That's nice of them to do.
Yeah, they didn't ruin the whole. They just voided it out. Had Jaylen Brown getting over 15 points, which when I realized that Kemba Walker wasn't playing, I was like, okay, Jaylen gonna have to score and Jason gonna have to score. But since Jason ain't playing, and Jaylen really gonna have to score. Had Kyle getting 4 rebounds, which he did. Jonas getting over 8.5 rebounds, which he did, and Marcus Smart getting over 3.5 rebounds, which he did. And I finally hit one with the Grizzlies. It took me a minute, but I finally hit one of these stats based ones. And I honestly believe it. I don't know if Tatum would have had 20 if he played, but who knows?
Yeah, we were robbed of the Dylan Brooks Jason Tatum matchup, but Jamal won some money, and that's what's important. So, how about the NCAA? You have any luck down there when you were
Today,
in Tunica?
on Friday, I had some luck. Saturday and Sunday took all my luck away.
Yeah.
But today got me back in the driver's seat. Today's games were pretty predictable. As y'all know, I'm a Pac-12 guy. I watch a lot of Pac-12 basketball, and even in the brackets that I filled out, I had Colorado winning. They lost today.
Me too.
But
That's the one that burned me. I thought they would win today and win one more game.
Yeah, I had all Pac-12 schools going to the except Oregon State. Actually, I had Oklahoma State beating Oregon State, but I had all Pac-12 schools going to the Sweet 16. The other ones going because the matchups worked out and the season was so wacky in the Pac-12 with all COVID and teams just like at the beginning of the season, you always knew that USC was going to be great because they had the Mobley brothers, and Evan Mobley's a top 3 pick. Oregon's always good, and they had older players was going to be fine. And UCLA is UCLA. Like Mick Cronin, people hate it when they hire Mick Cronin, but Mick Cronin going to keep y'all in the Sweet 16. You might not do nothing else, but he's going to get y'all there.
It's better than where they were.
And then Colorado was one of the best teams in the Pac-12 all year. Oregon State came in late, won the tournament, and they're just riding the hot streak. So like I wasn't surprised. So like you watch tonight, like I'm watching Iowa versus Oregon. I'm betting on Oregon +5. That's easy. And they beat them by 20. Put UCLA just happens to get Abilene Christian.
Yeah,
that's easy money. You know what I'm saying? Colorado played Florida State. That's probably the toughest game of the night. USC Kansas. That's probably on paper there was the toughest game, but when you saw it happen, it was like there was nothing that Kansas could do at USC.
Yeah, that one didn't surprise me. So who's your Final Four? Is it still intact?
No. I had Illinois going, and they got beat. So I have Gonzaga winning it all, and I think I have Gonzaga versus Baylor in the championship game. I think the Final Four. I had the 3. I might have had all 4 1 seeds going just because I thought those were the best teams: Gonzaga, Michigan, Baylor, and Illinois. Okay. But like they severely, I don't know if it was severely underseeded or they just really wanted the TV matchup because they gave Illinois a bad draw, making Loyola Chicago or Georgia Tech. They're 8-9 because Georgia Tech probably would have gave them a game too. Just because. But you know, we'll end it with this and talk way too much off of NBA. But if you're Porter Moser, the head coach of Illinois Chicago, you're leaving after this year, right? Like,
yeah,
you got to go to Indiana's open, Marquette's open, DePaul's open. You got to go to one of those schools because it's all in that area, in that Midwest area. You've done all you can do at Loyola Chicago. You went to a Final Four, and now you're in the Sweet 16 again. You've done all you can do.
Yeah, I mean, Indy would be. I think they would be crazy not to call, or Marquette. And you know, DePaul's below those 2 jobs. I'd say pretty significant amount. I don't know if I would leave for there, but either one of those schools. I mean, it's amazing what he's done. That's a true mid-major power right now, and we see it go in cycles. It was Wichita State. It was whoever. Shaka Smart at VCU, and right now it's Loyola Chicago. And this tournament has been amazing. From the conference tournaments, you remember that week I was off work and I was like just bragging about how good the basketball had been all day. And now like the tournament besides today has really delivered. And I think we got the most number of low seeds in the Sweet 16 than ever before. So, just upset city has been a lot of fun. My Final Four is still intact. My Elite 8 only has my Sweet 16 only has 7 of 16, but my Final Four, Gonzaga, Bama, Houston, and the Hogs are all still alive. So
I actually think I might have Bama beating Michigan in the Elite 8 to go to the Final Four.
Ooh, they look like it today.
The Alabama team is going to be tough, man. The Alabama team is tough.
Yeah, but this tournament has really pulled me back into college basketball. I don't know why or how.
It's been good, man, and I think just in terms of the betting or just even watching, the NCAA tournament is where stars are made. So I put a lot on teams that have individual stars. That's why I put Oklahoma State to get to Sweet 16, because I thought that Cade Cunningham would say, all right, my only NCAA tournament, like, I'm getting the ball and going. That didn't happen. Oregon State did a really good job on him.
Bill Walton was right, dude. All during the Pac-12 tournament, he's like, I don't know why no one believes in the Pac-12. Like, these are some of the best teams, and he says it every year, but this year he actually hit.
Right, and like, I mean, they said it was the first time that the Pac-12 had 5 teams in the tournament, in the second round of the tournament since 2009, and that was my senior year in Arizona when we made it to the Sweet 16. And we were we were a 12 seed that year. We were a 12 seed. We beat the 5 seed Utah, and we ended up playing the 13 seed Cleveland State, who had beat the 4 seed Wake Forest to go to the Sweet 16. And that Cleveland State had that team had Norris Cole on it, and so we were the only ones to make it out, though. So the Pac-12 had 5 teams make the second round, but we were the only ones to make it to the Sweet 16. And then we got absolutely destroyed by Louisville, 1,002 or whatever the score was.
But the Pac-12 gets a bad rap in the South because people can't watch it on Pac-12 Network.
Right, people don't watch the basketball. People can't watch it, but like you live out there, and I keep up with it, and it was always known that. But even before this season happened, like Oregon was going to be good. Colorado was always competitive, but you didn't expect this.
Well, they had that senior point guard, and like I watched this special on the Pac-12 Network, and I was all in on Colorado, and that's the one team that let me down.
Oh, McKinley, right?
Yeah.
So, and like you knew, like Evan Mobley, Isaiah Mobley, and the Drew dude that's on USC, like they gonna be fine. Like they were leading the Pac-12, and UCLA is any team that Mick Cronin coaches. Just like Jim Boeheim, when you get to the NCAA tournament, they're going to be a tough out because they play such hard-nosed defense, and they play a style that you ain't ready for when you get to the tournament. And just like I hate that Syracuse made the Sweet 16, but they're such a good tournament team because nobody plays against the zone like that. And, that's what it is.
Yeah, and 9 of the past 10 years, this is a note for next year, a team that has played in the play-in game has made it at least to the round of 32. So and I was on UCLA. I asked our UCLA insider. I was like, "Hey, what do you think?" Because I'm feeling UCLA. And he's like, "Nah, man, BYU, man, nah." I already had the change in my bracket.
You can't ask the insiders that are so close to the program because we always look at the program with a way more critical eye. I would do the same thing with Arizona.
This team is hooping. Like they're doing everything you could ask for going into the tournament. They just beat Michigan State. And he talked me out of it. So appreciate that, Spence. But anyways, we'll catch y'all on Wednesday after the Grizzlies play the Thunder in Oklahoma City. In the meantime, you can find me on Twitter at BarnburnerSlim. You can find the audio version of the show wherever you get your podcast. Search All Memphis Postgame and it'll pop up. Leave us a review, 5 stars. Subscribe to it so it'll come directly to your feed. And Jay, where can they find you?
Man, they can find me on Twitter at Nerdy McFly. They can find the show on Facebook at The Kickback Pod or at Diamond in the Bluff Media. And they can find us on YouTube at Diamond in the Bluff Media. If you haven't subscribed already on any one of those, shame on you. And you should go ahead and press that subscribe button and make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to subscribe because we are talking all things Memphis basketball. I would give a shout out to Houston High School, but nobody cares about that. With that being said, for Mase, I am Jamal, and we are out.
Peace.